Happy Friday. You are listening to the She Heals Radio Show on Awesome God Radio. It is Friday, September 25th, 2020. I am your host, Whitney J. It is such an honor to be with you this Friday. If you are tuning in live on the Awesome God Radio app, thank you so much. I'm so glad you're here. If you have not downloaded the free Awesome God Radio app, listen, amazing shows, amazing music, amazing sermons and worship. You don't want to miss it. I'm telling you, Awesome God Radio is going places you want to get locked in right now. And the app is free. Get it. If you are tuning in live on my YouTube channel, thank you so much. If you have not subscribed to my YouTube page, look up Whitney Hogan's and subscribe. Amazing things are on the way there, and amazing things are there already. If you're tuning in on Periscope, Twitter, thank you so much. Follow me there, Whitney Hogan's. And last but not ever least, if you are tuning in on Facebook Live, thank you so much. Hit the like button, leave a comment, share it to your page. Let's go. We have an amazing guest, author Jocelyn Bishop, that's going to be with us in the second half of the show. I am just so excited. She has an amazing story that you're going to want to hear. So stay tuned. Stay with me. So, She Heals Inspiration segment. I had a pretty good week. It's been a great week, actually, despite a few hiccups. It's been a great week. I wanted to share something with you. And the biggest thing that I want you to get out of this segment is that everything is not always what it seems. In my classroom, when I'm a teacher, every year I do this lesson with my students because they love it. Have you ever heard of optical illusions? So optical illusions are when you look at a picture, right? And you can see more than one thing. So I have this picture in my mind of, if you look at the picture one way, it's a rabbit. If you look at the picture another way, it's a duck. And so the whole point is we can be looking at the same thing, but seeing something differently, right? And so my students love these. Every year they get a kick out of them. They're trying to see the different things you're supposed to see. Sometimes they're seeing things that ain't even there. Maybe it's only that they see them, but everything is not always what it seems. So earlier this week, I had this dream, and it was a very interesting dream. And so in the dream, I wake up and I'm in the hospital. Not only am I in the hospital, I am in the maternity department of the hospital. I am in labor. And so they are telling me I got the IV in my arms, all of those things. They're like, you are in labor. And so I get out of the bed and I'm looking at myself, and I am skinny. I'm skinnier than I am now in real life. My stomach is flat, and there is no anything that would tell you I'm pregnant. There is nothing there. The typical pregnancy features, obviously a baby bump would be there by that point, right? By delivery point. My nose hadn't spread, no changes to my skin, nothing. And so I'm looking at myself, and the doctors and the nurses are coming in and they're saying, you need to get back in the bed. You're about to give birth. You need to get back in the bed. But I'm looking at myself and I am like, there is no way, because I am not pregnant. Look at me. I'm not carrying a baby. I'm not feeling any contractions. I don't have a baby bump. There's nothing, there's nobody even in this room but me. No family's there, no baby daddy is there, nothing. And so in the dream, I am puzzled because there's no way that I'm pregnant. There's no way I'm about to give birth, because there is nothing that shows me on the outside that I'm about to deliver. And so in this dream, again, they're like, you're in labor, and they're coming, they're checking on me, and they're like, we're getting ready to push. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. I'm not pregnant. So long story short, at the end of the dream, they tell me to push. I push reluctantly, and I deliver a 9-pound baby. And I woke up. And I was just like, what is this dream about? But God gave me this word. God gave me this word that it doesn't look like what it really is. You may think that you're just going through things and life is just happening. You may even be in that place, that season where you feel kind of stuck. Like, maybe God hasn't heard me. Maybe he's forgotten me. I don't feel like I'm moving forward. I'm just kind of, just going through the motions. But guess what? You are pregnant. God has deposited something in you, and you may not even know you're in labor. You may not even know that you're in labor, but he will deliver something through you at the appointed time, whether you are know it or not, whether you're prepared, how you think you should be prepared for it or not. We all are given something. God is always deposited something in us. And so even in this dream, nothing about it told me that I was pregnant. But not only was I actually pregnant, even though I didn't look it and didn't experience the typical labor that I've known to experience in my real life, but I delivered a huge baby, right? There's something significant about not looking like you're pregnant and delivering a 9-pound baby. And so I was kind of, toying with this dream, like, I wonder what this dream means. I wonder, God, what are you trying to say to me through this particular dream? And God told me, and I'm sharing what he shared with me and told me to share with you, that just because it doesn't look like he's doing something on the inside, just because he doesn't look like he's moving in your life, does not mean that is what is happening. You are absolutely pregnant and you are in labor and don't even know it. That's for somebody. And you're going to birth something that is way bigger than what it looked like you may be able to birth. So for those that know me personally, I am small in stature. I'm 5 feet. I might be really 4'11", but I am claiming that I'm 5 feet. And so I can't imagine. My children were both early. They were born premature, and they were both 5 pounds, 8 ounces. And so I can't imagine carrying a baby that is 9 pounds. My mother, my siblings and I were bigger babies at birth. My younger sister was 10 pounds at birth and had a 10-pound baby herself. So I can't even imagine what it was like to be pregnant and to carry a baby that is that big. I can't even imagine what it's like to labor and deliver a baby that is that big. But what I'm here to tell you is, even though on the outside, it may look like God is not doing anything, and maybe you're just, here, right? And maybe you're looking around and other people have these really big bellies and they're pregnant with so much, and you're looking at them and you're looking at yourself like, man, I'm just nothing. Like, I don't have anything. Maybe you feel like God hasn't given you anything because you don't see the physical evidence of it outside, here in the natural yet. But just because you don't see it yet does not mean that it is not in there. Listen, you don't know that you're pregnant the moment that it happens. It takes some time, right? It takes some time. And even then, you may not necessarily feel it all the time right away. So it's really important that you understand that God knows what he is doing. And even when you may think he's not birthing something in you, but not only is he doing that, but he's birthing something that is big. He's birthing something people are going to pay attention to. So you got to still continue to go through your labor. You got to go through your process. Let me just say this. Excuse me. Sometimes labor is difficult. I had some difficult pregnancies and difficult labors. They were complicated, both of them. I wish I could say my pregnancy experience was this beautiful, wonderful. I just loved every bit of it, but I was very, very sick both of the times that I had my children. But my mommy experience is great. But the pregnancy and labor and delivery, it was challenging. And so I remember during those times, all I wanted to do was carry my babies. I was trying to do everything that I could. I was listening to the doctors and doing everything that I could to just deliver these healthy babies. And even though my children were born premature, they were still healthy. However, I did everything in my power, everything that I could on my end to deliver full term. And I remember as a mother and as a woman for a long time, I struggled with the fact that I couldn't carry my babies full term. I struggled with the fact that, maybe if I, if my body would have cooperated, maybe my children wouldn't have asthma. Maybe my youngest wouldn't have autism or whatever. But let me explain this to you. The journey that God has for you is unique to you. Whatever he said was going to come to pass in your life is done. I don't care what physical evidence you see or don't see. I don't care what you see in the spiritual realm or the natural realm. Whatever he said he was going to do specifically in your life will be done. You don't ever have to question it. What he says, he doesn't go back on his word. He doesn't say, "Oh, I promised you this, but I'm going to take it back. I'm going to do something different." He is steadfast. He is faithful. He is consistent. And so if he gave you a word over your life that you were going to have certain things, then please understand that those things will come to pass. I don't care what has already happened, what is currently happening, or what is going to happen. Whatever God says will come to pass. But you have to have enough expectation in you to expect it to happen. Even in the dream that I had, when I was looking at myself with my flat tummy, no way I was pregnant, I still got on that bed and pushed in my dream. I still did that, even though I was doubting that anything was going to happen. Sometimes you got to still keep doing what God said, even when you aren't fully convinced yet that something's going to come of it. When I tell you there were certain things that God told me to do over the years, and I was just like, I don't have time to do this. I don't have time to do this, God. I don't have time to focus here. I got kids, I gotta work, I don't have time to do these things. And so I was doubting, like, what's all this for, God? Like, what is all this for? Why am I gonna waste my time trying to do certain things? But what God was saying to me instead is, you have to be in a mind of expectation. You have to see things before you see them, and you got to work them like they're already happening now. And so how many of us, we get stuck because we don't move in rotation? We don't do nothing. We just sit because we don't even see the point. So many of us cancel ourselves out of the race before we even get started because we just don't see the point. We're like, well, what's God gonna do with me? How is God gonna make this happen? God, you told me that I was gonna be healed, but all I'm seeing is negative doctor report, negative doctor report. Like, what's the point of believing you for healing? What's the point of worshiping in the midst of the storm? For what? So many of us live in that realm because we can't see it. We have got to get past the fact that God is not going to lay everything out for us all the time. He's not going to tell you the plan. And there is work on our part. We so want God to do it all. Listen, I want God to open the clouds. I want him to come down and say, okay, boom, here's the plan. Here's what you're going to do. Here's what I'm going to do. This is how it's all going to work. That's what I want. That's not how God operates. Faith has nothing to do with what you see and everything to do with who you know. So you can't say I have faith in God if you need him. You have to see every little thing before you're willing to make a move for him. Sometimes you got to step out there. I know it's scary. I know there are so many unknowns. Listen, I don't like the unknown at all. I want to know everything. I want to know all of it. But God has put me in a season where I've had to step out and I had to step into the unknown. I just had to do it. Afraid, nervous, whatever, just do it. But you have to live in expectation. You have to actually expect something to happen. So you can't go to the delivery room, get ready, and not expect to deliver something. You've got to go knowing and expecting that God is going to meet me here. So you know what, God, I don't even know what I'm delivering right now. I don't even know what you're doing right now. But God, I trust you enough to know that I'm just going to show up. I'm going to be in position. I'm going to be where you told me to be, when you told me to be there. I'm going to be there with the right posture, right? Which is with a good attitude, seeking you, doing things in decency and order. I'm going to do that. I'm going to hop into that place and I'm going to trust that if I'm there, it's because you placed me there. And if you place me there, you also place something in me that is going to be birthed in this place. Right? Many of us want to birth things, and the reason why it's not happening is we're not in the right place. You going to give birth in your bathroom? Are you going to give birth, outside in the street? No. Hopefully you're going to give birth in a hospital or a place that is structured and prepared for that delivery, right? So if you're giving birth at home, you're not just going to lay down and get some towels. No, there's a plan that's been put in place, right? You have a midwife or somebody that's coming that's going to set that atmosphere and change that atmosphere to prepare you for birth. Here's another word for somebody else. Sometimes we think God only births things through us one way. God will birth what he wants, when he wants, how he wants, where he wants, and with whom he wants to birth it through. So we are saying, okay, God, you called me to preach. So that means I need to now go and try to find a church to preach, because that's where preachers preach, is at church. Where God may be saying to you, you know what? Yes, I have given you the call to preach, but the place that your delivery room might look a little different than the typical thing. So your delivery room might be a prison ministry. Your delivery room may be in shelters and other places. Your delivery room may look a little different, but the call didn't change. The assignment didn't change, but everybody's birth story is different. They're not the same. I have 2 children. Their birth stories are not the same. My experiences with both children were not the same. So you got to stop looking at how God birthed someone else, or birthed something through someone else rather, as the standard for you. It's not going to be that way. You're going to have to get comfortable with the fact that God is doing a unique thing for me. God is birthing me. He has a unique birthing plan. He knows exactly where I need to be. He knows who needs to be there with me. He knows the particulars and the details and the things that we are going to need to make this happen. So even though my friend over here may have birthed something and it may look a certain way over there for her, that doesn't mean that my birth story is any less. It means simply that it's different. That's all that it means. Because remember, when you are giving birth to something, you are presenting something to the world. God will put you in a certain place to birth the unique thing he has for you, because the people that need whatever it is that you birth are in that place. So don't ever question when you're like, God, why am I here? I think I should be over here. God, why am I here? You're here because this is where your birth story begins. The people that God has called you to, and for whatever it is that you're birthing through your body, he's birthing through your body, is for those people, and that's where they are. And whatever you're giving in the way that you're giving it is what they need. And so we can sometimes get discouraged because how we're birthing something looks different than somebody else. God never told us that everything was going to look the same for everybody. He never did. And it doesn't matter if everybody in your circle is birthing something a certain way, and if everybody in your circle it's working out like this. We look at things. Instagram is a prime example of this. We look at people that have followers on Instagram, right? We all do. And you're like, man, this person has 10,000 followers. This person, oh my goodness, they post something and people respond. They, tell you to go buy something and people go buy it. And we look at that and we get some of us can get so discouraged because I want to do that, but I only have 200 followers. They have 2,000 or 200,000 or whatever. You have to realize that there was a birthing process for that. And so this is just their season. This is their time. And so we can sometimes spend all of our time looking at somebody else and what somebody else is doing, that we actually missed our own assignment because we're caught up in the numbers. We're caught up in the look. Well, God, I want my call to look like this. When I had the dream deposited in my little heart when I was in the 2nd grade in Miss Caruso's class at Urbana Elementary School in Frederick, when I was there and the first thought of becoming an author hit me, we were doing a project. We had to write a story, and she had bought these cute little blank hardback books, and we could actually draw on them and write them. So it was like an actual book. I don't even remember my story, but at that moment, the dream to become an author came. And I spent many times dreaming about writing my first book and what that was going to look like and what that was going to feel like. I had no idea that God was going to take the most painful season of my life, and that was going to be the content of my book. That is not what I planned. I wanted to write fiction books. I wanted to write self-help books. I wanted to do something totally different. I had no idea that that was how God was going to birth that dream. Like, really? You're going to give me that? The pain is real, but the promise is eternal. That's my first entry into writing professionally. God, I wanted to write about something different. I imagined a different experience. Yet, God birthed that book through me because it's not about me and what I want. It's about Him and getting the glory, Him getting the glory. He birthed that book during that season because the people that He had connected to that book, that is what they needed. Your yes to God is a no to your flesh. It's a no to you. It is saying, God, I embrace all that you have for me. My yes to you says, I am laying down my life. I am laying down all of the things that come with me, and I'm giving my life to you. I'm saying, yes, have your way. So many of us are saying yes to God because we want the goodness that is in that yes, but we still want to hold on to how we want to do things or how we want certain things to be. And it doesn't work that way. And so when you give your yes to God, it's a full yes. This is how you want me to write, God? You told me I was an author. Okay, if this is the topic you've given me, okay, God, I still give you my yes. If this birth plan that maybe doesn't look as pretty as somebody else's or as nice as somebody else's, if this is the birth plan that you have for me, okay, God, I give you my yes. If it's going to take me years to birth something or months to birth something or minutes to birth something, God, you have my yes. You have my yes. Do you have a yes for God? Do you have a yes that God, whatever you have put into me, I believe that I'm pregnant with something. I believe that I'm not just here on this earth taking up space. I believe that you've given me something, and I'm willing to go through whatever process necessary to deliver what it is that you have for me. Do you have that position? That's the position that you need to live wholeheartedly for God. It's a God, you got my yes period. It's cool. Okay, God, this is what you want me to do next. Okay. You know, in the last couple months, God has just dropped some things. I mean, it's been crazy. The amount of ideas, the vision, He sent the help, He's answered some throwback prayers that I really have stopped praying for because I just thought maybe God's answer is no. Maybe that He doesn't have that for me. And He's been answering. And so I'm in that place now, and I'm like, okay, God, I feel pregnant this time. I may not be able to look and see it. Not a whole, I mean, there are some things that have changed in my world, but not everything has changed. And so I'm looking and I'm like, God, I don't know. I just have that feeling like there may be something going on in the inside of me. You know, I don't fully see everything that you're doing yet, but I do have this nudging in my spirit that I need to pay attention because there are some things that are happening. We're all pregnant with something. And here's the other thing. Pregnancy is a delicate time. Delivery is a delicate time. I've given this analogy many times before, and I'm gonna give it one more time. You know, when you first find out you're pregnant, so we're gonna talk literal for a minute. When you first find out you're pregnant, people handle this differently. Some people, from the moment they see a positive pregnancy test, they are telling the world, they're posting it or whatever. And everyone's preference is fine. It's what you are comfortable with. Some people tend to wait. Maybe they share with those super close. Some people wait till after the first trimester. We all have our process, right? Of how we're going to let people know, but it tends to be kind of private up front. And then you get to that place where you kind of, you know, people might start looking like, is she? You know, you have that weird in between stage where you might look like you're pregnant, or you might look like you just, you know, overate a couple days or whatever. So then you have that time where it's undeniable, right? It is clear that you are pregnant. Everybody can see it. So whether you want to share it with people or not, they can see it. They already know, right? Then you move into the season where you might have baby showers and things like that. Again, openness. People know, lots of people are around now. Now you're posting cute baby pictures. You might be posting those pregnancy reveals and all that stuff. So now you got your social media on fire, right? People are sending gifts. You got your baby shower. Everybody's involved, right? Then we get to Labor Day. So Labor Day is different. You might have a lot of people there, right? The waiting room might be packed. But when it is time to deliver that baby, every hospital has rules and regulations concerning labor. I remember for my oldest son, the rule was you could only have two other people in the room aside from mommy, me. That was it. And they held that strict. So, I had a whole family there, both sides of the family was there all day. When it was time to deliver, they said, all of y'all got to roll up out of here. You can only have two other people to be in the room during delivery. So, all these people are here. They're all family. They're all excited. You got to make a decision, right? Of who you're going to keep into the room, right? Some places, now with COVID, I imagine it might be no one can come in the room. I'm not really sure. I'm saying this to you that when you're in a season of labor specifically, God will close the gap. He will close the gap. He will start to remove some people because everybody can't be around during the labor. So you will notice that he will start moving people out of the way. It could be people you've known for a long time. It could be family. It could be friends. It could be colleagues, whoever. He'll start getting people out the way, and he will position who needs to be there for the birth. And you may be surprised of who's in the delivery room with you. It may not be who you thought it was going to be, right? It may be totally different. It may be someone you've only known for a year or two, as opposed to that person you've known for 10 years or 20 years. You will notice that he will close the gap. Don't get mad when God starts closing the gap. When he starts moving people out the way and shifting people, and it seems like your circle's getting smaller, don't get upset, get prepared, because that means that you are about to give birth, because everybody can't be there for the delivery. Don't be mad when God starts to position certain people. You're like, where did that person come from? And why are they there? When he puts people that are wiser and have more information in whatever it is that you're birthing. When he puts people in place to mentor you and to carry you. Don't get upset when he does that. It simply means that you are now about to go into labor. Labor is not for everybody. It's not for everybody. The newborn is not for everybody. When you first have a baby, you don't have everybody at your house. Why? Because we got to protect that new baby that's here, right? We don't want people coughing and sneezing and doing all the things that they do, coming over where there's this brand new baby that's being brought into the world that doesn't have an immune system yet. And so you've got to be protective of that, right? You have to ask God to show you certain things. Don't be mad when he starts making moves that don't really make sense in the moment. If you notice that things are shifting in your life and people are shifting, don't fret. I know it can be painful. I've lived through it multiple times. It can be painful, but know that it means that you are in labor. So know that when God transitions out, he transitions in. He never leaves us empty-handed. He never leaves us broken. God knows exactly what he is doing, but you must be willing to go through the process. And so if you're in a season of labor where things are shifting, you may not even fully understand yet exactly what is happening. Just know that God is working behind the scenes and he is shifting and moving things. And even when it looks crazy and it's like, God, what are you doing? How are you going to bring all this together? How is this going to become a baby? Because I'm seeing all these different things and it doesn't really make sense. Understand that God doesn't need it to make sense to you for it to make sense to him. He's good. He's fine. What he needs, is for you to be in position to submit to the process of labor. He needs you just to do your part. He's got the rest. I promise you. He's got the rest, but you've got to be in position. And you have to accept the fact that your labor may not look like everybody else's, and that is okay. That maybe you don't have that picture perfect life, but guess what? Truth be told, nobody does. That's the secret. Nobody does. But maybe you're looking like, I'm not even pregnant. I don't have nothing to offer. How many of us have thought that? Oh, I mean, so-and-so can sing. This person can write. This person can act. I don't have any gifts. Not so. God has something in you. He has impregnated you with something. And at the right time, he will birth it. But you got to be in position. You got to be prayed up. You got to be discerning. You have to be submitted to him, fast and pray. If you're feeling uneasy, like things are transitioning, this is a great time to fast, just to get centered. He will not only take you through the pregnancy, but he will take you through the delivery, and you will deliver bigger than what you went through. I pray that you were blessed by that She Heals Inspiration segment. Listen, God gave me that, and I was so excited to share. It is nothing but Him. We are transitioning now into the second half of the show. We have an amazing woman of God. She is literally about to hop in. We want to welcome to the She Heals Radio Show author Jocelyn Bishop. Come on in. Hey, Jocelyn.
Hi.
How are you? You look beautiful.
Oh, thank you. I'm doing well. A little nervous, but I'll be fine.
Oh, girl, you're just talking to me. It's all good. It's all good.
Okay,
Well,
okay.
welcome to the She Heals Radio Show, Jocelyn. I am so excited that you're here. You know, when I saw that you had a brand new book coming out, I was
Mm-hmm.
super excited, and
Yes.
I just could not wait to just talk. So first, I just want you to introduce yourself and tell us the title of your book, and let's hop in from there, okay?
Okay. Hey, you all. I'm Jocelyn Bishop. I'm 30 years old, and now I'm a self-published author. The name of my book is She Found Strength, and basically it goes into detail of how I found strength from instead of succumbing to my childhood trauma. I basically found strength going through the foster care system, going through anxiety, going through depression after, my foster parents like basically had passed away. One passed away this year, then one passed away last year. So, yeah.
Wow, wow. And well, first of all, I'm so sorry for your loss.
Oh,
I
thank you.
had the pleasure of knowing them, and they were incredible people. So we certainly just want to honor them as well. But let's hop into this a little bit. So your book is called She Found Strength, and when I saw your title, it just hit me because it doesn't say you just got it; you had to find it, right? There was
Yes,
that
definitely.
indicates there was some work involved. And so, talk a little bit about some of those experiences that led you to write the book. So, where did this book come from?
What led me to, well, one day I was just like in my apartment, and I said, why not go about doing something different? Why not go ahead and write a book? And I'm like, okay, write a book about what? I'm like, okay. Didn't even feel like I was called to do it anyway. So
Mm,
I said, why not write a book about foster care, because my foster parents inspired me to, write a book about them and just how the Davises went about caring for me and my siblings, and then they did it in the community, whereas though they had their niece go about getting foster kids and his sister go about getting foster kids. So I said, why not go ahead and just do this? So I went ahead and did it. So I spoke to Mr. Davis just before he passed away, like a month before, and I said, Mr. Johnson, because we called him Mr. Johnson.
yes, I was gonna
And
say
I
that's what
said,
I know for that.
yes, yes. So I said, Mr. Johnson, I'm going to write a book about you and Miss Nola. Is that okay? He said, sure, why not? And I said, Mr. Johnson, I went through and asked him what he want me to put in the book. And I said, do you mind me talking about how you planted a substance abuse ministry within his family church? And he said, sure, so I went about, jotting down notes. And then when I let him know, he got teary eyed and looked out the window and just started crying because he
Mhm.
said, you guys were just such beautiful and well respected kids, and you guys are my family, so I just wanted to go about inspiring other foster parents and encouraging other foster kids about foster care, just to let them know that it's not in vain and it's not the world's perspective of it. It's basically, how the people within the home treat the kids. And I
Uh,
just want everyone to know that these people were my family. If it wasn't for them, I don't know where I would be.
yes.
Um, they
Mm.
definitely changed my life for the better. And I just miss him so much. So
I
I just want
can
to
imagine.
shed the light, to let others know that foster care, there is success in foster care, and you can come across good people. And I was fortunate enough to be able to come across a great family who I cherished. We did everything together, went everywhere. They always told everyone we were their kids, even
Mm,
in the hospital just before or the second to last day Mr. Davis passed away. He told the nurse, he looked up and he had enough strength to let her know. He said, I'm gonna let you know, these kids were my family.
mm.
They were good kids. They were never troublesome. And he just adored us. And the nurse looked at him and said, I agree with Mr. Davis. I can tell. And he just told everyone. So did his wife. She portrayed the same attributes also.
That is absolutely incredible. And Jocelyn, I just want to just commend you because number one, when we do hear the words foster care, people have their own preconceived notion of what that is, right? And we
Right,
do hear the horror stories, right? We do hear
right.
the stories of foster parents mistreating their foster children and other things taking place, but it's such a blessing that you were willing to share your story. That what, everybody's story is not that story. There are people that go through
No,
foster care that are well loved, and I am so thankful that not only you and your siblings were able to receive that love and give that love, but that you saw fit to honor your parents by
right.
doing this. That's a big deal. And even though I am certain they are in heaven smiling super big right now, I'm sure that they
Oh
are
yeah,
so proud.
definitely. Yes,
That
definitely.
you even were able to share that that was what you were going to do. That's a big deal. And the fact that God gave you an assignment and you followed it. So
Right,
many of us hear from God and, oh, you should write a book. Oh, you should create an album or whatever it is that God has told us, and we sit on it and we
right.
don't follow through. So kudos to you for following through. So
Oh,
if
thank
you're
you.
comfortable, let's dive in a little bit deeper to your foster care story. So whatever you feel comfortable sharing, you can just share a little bit about what that childhood, what you had to find strength from.
Well, at the age of 7, um, my family. I have a big family. It's 9 of us,
Wow.
and my mom was an alcoholic, and my dad was a heroin addict, and basically throughout my childhood, we had to basically try to go about, finding like different ways that we could survive on our own. And we had family that pitch in and help and everything. And then, you know, um, we basically ended up in the foster care system. We don't know who told or who was watching or anything like that.
Mhm.
And then I came with the Davises, and they just back in 2003. And from the age of 12 was when I got into foster care, and I aged out at 21. They cared for me. They were there. Um, they were family. It's hard to explain because it's like you would have to be there to see it. But I could see people at church could see that.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
it's just what they portrayed in church and behind closed doors. This was nothing fake. My
Mm.
social worker will even come by to see us, and he already knew that we had great foster parents. Sometimes he didn't even have to come by because he, would just call and say, "I know you guys are doing good," but he still had to keep up with what was expected of him, of his job requirements. But then, you know, um, my foster mom, basically her health declined. Mr. Davis' health declined, and then she passed away before. No, he passed away before she did. And then when she passed, it hurt me a lot when he passed away. When she passed away, also, I found myself having panic attacks, and I'm just like, okay, what's going on here? And then I fell deep into depression and anxiety. And then I basically developed some type of suicidal thoughts.
Mm.
And I would run back and forth to the hospital thinking something's wrong with my mind, and I'm like, God, I know nothing's wrong with me. What is going on here? I would hear small voices in my head to do this, to do that. And I wouldn't listen to that voice, but I would hear it. And I would go to my brother and I said, John, am I going to be okay? And he said, Jocelyn, don't worry. You're going to be fine. I would cry, just to get through it. I would listen to gospel music, which is one of my favorite. I would walk around the pond. I would pray just to get through it. Um, there were times when, before Mr. Johnson passed away, I was going through the same thing too. And because of what was going on with Mrs. Davis. And I would call him and I say, Mr. Johnson, I'm scared. I don't know what's going on. He would say, Jocelyn's going to be okay. He prayed with me. We cried over the phone.
Mm.
And then, um, I just kept going through that, just going through the motions with that. I'm just like, God, how can I get through this? I would call my sister and cry. She said, Jocelyn, you're going to be okay. God's got you. Nothing's going to happen to you, because I thought I was going to die. And I'm just
Mm.
like, okay, what is going on? Is my heart going to stop? I would be at work thinking that my heart's going to stop. Something's going to happen, but nothing ever happened. And
Right.
I would pray, I would be crying at work. People wouldn't see me, but I'm just like, what is going on? Am I losing my mind? I just kept thinking I was losing. That's why I kept running back and forth to the hospital just for the doctor to say, Miss Bishop, you're going to be okay. And I
Mm.
felt okay once I got to the hospital, and I would leave. Like, I would drive myself there and then come back home. But basically, God, if it wasn't for Him, my family, for keeping me, for, strengthening me and helping me to stay strong through that, I don't know how I would be even able to get through it. But it was tough.
I
It was
can
tough.
only imagine. But what I love about what you said is that you know that it was God. You know that it
Yeah.
was God and your family. And it seemed like you did have, God had provided some resources for you, pull on some lifelines for you to pull on when you were in those low moments.
Yes.
I think sometimes, as someone who's battled with depression and anxiety and suicide thoughts and attempts myself, the biggest thing that I've learned is that God will surround you with everything you need. You may not even know
True.
it, at the time.
Right.
You may not even know that, oh, this person is there for this reason or this, whatever, but He always gives you everything that you need. He always provides
Yes,
what
he
you need.
does.
Um,
Definitely.
I am just so thankful that you were able to pull in and to seek the strength that you needed, and God provided it. So that
Yes, he
is
did.
amazing. And so, talk to me a little bit about the book specifically. So, in the book, do you take us through your story, start to finish? Do you just share some nuggets of wisdom that you experienced? Give us like a small peek into the book.
It basically starts from start to finish, whereas though, um, like throughout me going through the depression and the anxiety of the things that I overcame with, like graduating from college,
Yeah,
um, getting a full time job within the school system as a janitor, being employed, staying employed.
yeah,
Um, I had made a blog, inspirational blog to inspire other people. Um, yeah, it goes from start to finish, from when I was younger to my adulthood to now. You know.
amazing. And
Hmm.
so, talk to me a little bit about the writing process because if you're not familiar with writing, it can be quite difficult. And especially when you are writing about your life, sometimes it can get a little challenging. What was it like for you, though, with just actually writing and kind of reliving those experiences?
In the beginning, like I knew what word for word that I wanted to mention within the book. But as that part was not hard. But once I submitted it to my publisher, she wanted me to draw out more emotions, because it's like I had everything there, but she wanted people to see, like to be able to picture it in their mind once they read the book of how I felt, what happened, did I cry, did I laugh, did I smile, and that part was kind of hard because it's like it was I can't explain it. It was just a lot, and it
Mm.
brought up different memories, when it got to the point of like my foster parents. I actually cried, so I had to like take it like every single day. I would have to do bit by bit by bit, like just drawing
Yeah.
out the emotion part of it, because the publisher said, you have to let them kind of see and know, be able to feel in their own mind too. So that was the only part that was kind of hard.
I can certainly imagine that. And so, um, just what would you say to? I'm going to ask you a two-part question. So the first part is,
Okay.
what would you say to people that maybe are aspiring to become foster parents? What words of wisdom would you give them as someone who has been a foster child? What would you give them to help them to be a successful foster parent? What advice?
I would say go ahead and do it. I feel as though no child should be left behind. It definitely makes a difference in a child's life. It did for me, and I can see the goodness of it
Mhm.
because they had planted such enriched soil within me that had it not been for them, I don't know where my life would have been. And Mr. Like I said, Mr. Davis basically just went everywhere and told everyone, and people wanted to actually go about doing it, but I don't know if they actually,
Like
went
follow
with
through.
through with the process. But he inspired his niece and his sister to get my two younger sisters, and that went through. Like, I don't know the things that he said to them, but definitely, I think it's a great idea. Definitely.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then what would you share with maybe you never know who can be listening, that there may be a child who is currently in foster care. I imagine there are a lot of feelings that are associated with being separated from your family. What would you say to them or to another adult like yourself that maybe has lived through foster care? What words of encouragement would you give them?
I would tell them to never label themselves as a foster child. To know that, to tell themselves that they are a conqueror and they can get through anything um, that whatever they're faced with. Um, I would also tell them that it's not in vain, and that they're going to be okay, and nothing's bad is going to happen.
Amen.
Definitely.
Amen. I think so many people need to just be encouraged. I do not know
Oh,
what it's like to
definitely.
to be in foster care myself, but I did have relatives that had children that they served in that capacity, and I just remember just our family, coming in and loving on them as if they were ours, because they were, right.
Right.
Family is
Hmm.
not just blood. Family is who God blesses you to be with, and that can look like anybody. And so,
Right.
just super thankful. And so, I just want you to share a little bit, any happy memories that you have as a kid being with the Davises. This can just be an opportunity for you to just honor them as well.
There's so many. Which one? How we would just like do things together. They never. Mr. Davis had kids of his own, and Miss Davis never had any kids. And
Okay.
the thing that really stuck with me, that made me so just love them so much, is that they never showed us any kind of difference because we were foster kids. They embraced us with so much love. They told us on a regular basis, "I love you. We are family." And that
Mm,
was like that was just a big part of them, because I wasn't used to someone giving me hugs. I wasn't used to someone coming in my room, sitting down with me, talking about the Lord, how they got saved, and wanting me to follow that same path that they followed. And you don't really see that many days, within a foster home anyway. Some of the stories that you hear is whereas though the kids are isolated. I got to freely walk around the house. I didn't have to stay in my room. I got to go in the refrigerator. I got to dance around the house. We would turn the gospel music up. Me, Miss Nola, and my sister, we would dance. And in the living room, after we cleaned up every Saturday morning, we would dance. And then later on, on Saturday, we would go and clean the yard with Mr. Davis and my brother and my sister. This was something that we did all the time. So it was never no isolation. He never treated his biological kids different from us, and
That's
they loved us also.
that's amazing. What you just described to me is the model of Christ, right? That we should
Definitely.
we should love everybody, as if they are our blood family, because if we are members of the
Yes.
body of Christ, we are connected. And I just love that. And I love the simplicity of that. Dancing, listening to music, while you're cleaning, but yet so impactful, just spending time. I think a lot of times
Yes, definitely.
we think we have to do so many things for people, and people just want quality time. They just want to be loved on and cared for. And I am just so thankful that even though you just shared that you weren't used to that, to get having hugs and those kind of things, that you got to experience and embrace those. That is amazing. And so through all of that, through all of the good, all of the bad, you birthed She Found Strength. What a testament to
Definitely.
God, that you were able to just share what God has given you. Like, don't ever take that for granted, Jocelyn. I am just so excited for what God is about to do in your life. Like, I know you've accomplished many
Thank
things.
you.
You have done some amazing things, and you're an incredible woman. But just know that God is just getting started. He is, if you
Right.
thought, just writing the book was like, oh, cool, that's great. No, girlfriend, He is about to do a mighty work.
Right.
You won't even be able to fathom
Thank
the things
you.
that God will do. And I just am so excited for you. So as we are, closing out the show, I told you the time goes by so quickly. We'll be wrapping up here in a few.
Yeah.
I want you just to think about the person right now that is broken. Maybe there is somebody that felt like maybe how you felt during those low moments in your life. I want you to think about that person specifically, and just what would you say? How could we encourage them today?
Excuse me if I cry a little bit,
It's
but
okay. You can cry. I might cry too. Okay.
I would say that you can do it. God has you. No matter what voices come to your mind, no matter how much you may say, I can't do this. I'm gonna give up. There is
Mm,
strength to keep going forward. There is strength in God. He will give it to you, and just keep your head up, knowing that all things will work out for your good. Nothing's a mistake. Nothing's a mistake. That's
mm,
something that had to come into terms of like nothing's a mistake, Jocelyn. Everything is going to be okay. Everything is
mm.
going to be okay. God has me. That's why my brother kept telling me. My sister kept telling me. My foster parents kept telling me. Everything is going to be okay.
Yes, yes. What a word. What a word. You, Jocelyn, I am just, when I say I'm just in awe of you, I am, because it takes a lot of courage to share your story. It
Right.
takes so much courage. And I am just so thankful that you went on this journey. And to everybody that is listening, we are going to put the link to Jocelyn's book in the comment section shortly after the show. So again, it's She Found Strength, Jocelyn Bishop. It is on Amazon, correct?
Correct.
Right, it's on Amazon. We are going to be sure to purchase this book, reach out to her, leave a review, share the book with someone, even if your story isn't that you have been through foster care. You may have a different set of circumstances, but there is still a word from the Lord in here for you. And so you really want to read this book. You want to go grab it. You want to grab a couple copies, grab some for your friends, have a, book club or whatever. But just please support this amazing woman of God. Jocelyn, I just want to leave with this word for you, and then I would like to pray for you if that is okay.
Okay.
Um, so, like I said earlier, you can't even fathom what God has for you. And you said something just now that was so important, that God does not make mistakes. He does not make
Mm-mm.
mistakes. And He created you on purpose. And you have a mighty,
Amen.
mighty purpose. You are an amazing woman. There's just a light about you. I mean, I can
Oh,
just
thank you.
I can see it, I can feel it. And my
Thank
prayer for you
you.
is that you will embrace all that God has for you, and that you will boldly walk through the doors that He opens for you, that you won't ever question, is that door for me, God? Or can I do this? Or, like you said, those voices that tell you those things, my prayer is that they will go mute, just like we can mute on the Zoom and Google Meet.
Right.
I pray
Definitely.
that those voices will go on mute, because you have an amazing gift and an amazing talent. And I just
Oh,
cannot
thank
wait to
you.
see what you do. As we close out the show, I'm just going to quickly open up a word of prayer for you and for everyone that is listening right now. I just feel that there may be somebody that is feeling broken right now, and maybe they are feeling like their life has no value, that they have nothing to offer. And this prayer is for you as well. Lord God, we just thank you for being who you are, God. We thank you for Jocelyn, God. We thank you for every person that is tuning into the show right now, God. Lord, we know that our feelings and our flesh are temporary, and they're not always real, but your word is, oh God. Your word says that we are made fearfully and wonderfully made, God. So we thank you right now for Jocelyn. I pray, Lord, that you pour into her all that she has poured out in this book, God, that so she will continue to pour just from the overflow. I pray that you continue to heal her, repair her, restore her. I pray that you open doors that she couldn't even dream big enough for, oh God. I pray that you show her who you have made her to be, that she sees yourself the way you see her, oh God, that she speaks over herself the way you speak over her, God. Lord, I pray for every person listening to this show that may be battling some hurt or pain or brokenness, God, that you will just pour into them right now, God. You are the ultimate comforter, God. And even though we don't always understand what you may allow, God, we trust your plan, because we know your plan is beautiful. Be next to the brokenhearted, God. Whisper sweet nothings in their ear. Hold them like you've never held them before. Heal them, repair them, and transform them. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Amen. Jocelyn, I want to thank you so much. I want you to share one more time the name of your book and where we can find it, and we will put it in the comment box.
My book is available on Amazon, and it's called She Found Strength.
Absolutely. We will put the link in the comment section. Do not worry about that. And listen, Jocelyn, you have an amazing story, and there may be people that, want to reach out to you and hear your story some more. So if you are interested, you certainly can reach out to me. I will connect you with Jocelyn. Jocelyn has social media as well. I will tag her in the comments so that you can see it. Listen, reach out to her, pray for her, support her book, have her come talk. I don't know. Just know that there is an amazing
No.
work place that is taking place, and you want to be a part of it. Jocelyn, you have blessed me, and I am certain you have blessed many just by sharing tonight. I am so thankful that you chose to come and hang with us on the She Heals Radio Show. Hopefully, this is not the last time. We can get you to come back and hang out some more. But
Definitely not.
I just want to thank you. I wanted to take this time to thank all of my She Heals Radio Show family. Thank you to my super producer, Quincy, that always takes care of the show. Thank you to every person that listens. I don't take for granted that you guys come and hang with me on Friday evenings. You could be anywhere else. I am just super honored that you take that time to come and hear what God has shared through little old wit. So I appreciate that. To my Awesome God Radio family, I love you. I'm thankful for you. I'm blessed to be a part of this family. To everybody that's listening, have a beautiful and wonderful weekend. I hope you guys feel, I feel good. I feel restored. I'm excited. I feel
Yes,
really good.
definitely.
I pray that you just feel the love of God because He is all around us. Even when we don't feel Him, He is ever present. In closing, she thinks, she feels, she prays, she cries, she trusts, she holds on, she waits with expectation, and ultimately, she heals. This is the She Heals Radio Show with your host, Whitney J. Have an amazing Friday. We will see you back here next Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Take care. God bless.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.